I'm Kim Komando, America's Digital Pro, and this is Tech News This Week from Komando.com. First up, cyber criminals are pulling off some scary attacks. I'm talking about potential attacks that affect our airports, our hospitals, and other government facilities.
I'm Mike James, and there's a new update from Apple that police aren't too happy about. It's the latest iOS update that has a feature that blocks criminals from using devices to crack your iPhone's passcode. We're going to tell you why the police may have absolutely nothing to worry about at all.
Every day we give big tech a piece of our lives. I'm talking about our privacy. We're becoming part of their vast system of algorithms. Well, coming up, you don't want to miss this. We're going to talk about and tell you what they already know about you and how they found out. You will be surprised.
Plus, a gas station caper. It was recently pulled off in Michigan. Hackers remotely took over pumps at a gas station and were able to walk away with, well, a bundle of gas.
And what's old is new again. Yep, as the new Apple Watch and Watch OS will feature a 35-year-old technology for the digital world. Can you guess what it might be? Since texting can't convey emotion very well, Apple is turning to this brand new method of messaging. You're going to love it.
All right, we get started from a pretty terrifying corner of the internet. I'm sure you've heard us talk about the dark web before. We've done plenty of stories about it on Komando.com, and there's a Komando On Demand podcast series about the seedy underbelly of the internet. The dark web has a thriving underground market for drugs, money laundering, hacking, software, cybercrime activity, and stolen accounts that are all up for sale. Now researchers have found something else that's pretty frightening. Hackers are selling U.S. government remote access credentials on the dark web for as low as $10. These credentials can be used to gain remote access to the computer systems of airports, hospitals, and other government agencies. In their investigation, McAfee found that various dark web RDP specialty shops are selling these connections in bulk, and they also found passwords for security and building automation systems of a major airport. The best solution to this growing problem is to have computer systems administrators make sure that they're properly securing their remote access systems. It doesn't matter if a computer has the latest and greatest security software installed. If a system can be taken over remotely due to weak RDP credentials, then it is game over. And for more on this and ways to protect your computer or network from RDP attacks, go to Komando.com and search Dark Web. More tech news coming up, but right now a quick thank you to our partners at Indeed. Hey, do you remember our podcast earlier this week? We told you about how Apple dropped its new iOS update with a new USB security feature. The upgrade is supposed to prevent crooks from using USB devices to crack your phone passcode. The fix also means police couldn't gain access either, and they weren't very happy about it. But now, a computer security company says the new feature has a major loophole, meaning it's not as secure as they thought. Researchers found that the 1-hour timeout will reset if you plug in any USB accessory, even if that accessory has never been used with the phone before. So, for example, if someone was trying to break into your iPhone using your passcode, they could get around the 1-hour lockout by plugging in an accessory like Apple's Lightning to USB 3 camera adapter. So if a police officer seizes an iPhone, all they need to do is immediately connect the iPhone to a compatible USB accessory, and that'll prevent the USB restricted mode lock after 1 hour. We hope Apple is already working on a fix for this, and I'm sure they probably are.
If you follow us over at Komando.com, you know we're always alerting you to the very latest scams. Phishing scams, hacking tricks that crooks are using to steal your identity, steal your money. It's when they get personal and pull out your heartstrings or exploit your loneliness that really uncovers just how deplorable these scammers are. You may have heard of catfishing. It's a term when someone pretends to be someone else online. They do this to lure you in. You have to hear this story. Recently, a woman in Orlando, Florida lost, get this, it's unbelievable really, $270,000 after sending money to a man she met over on Match.com. Her name is Diane Standish. She says she fell in love with a man who called himself Darnell Michael. Doesn't that sound like a romantic name? He sent her pictures. Well, they weren't his pictures. They were actually photographs of a former ambassador to Bosnia who's married and he has 3 kids. The man told Diane he was the CEO of a German company, but somehow he'd fallen on hard times. She says he told her all the right things and she had no reservations. After he said he was actually coming to Orlando, he fell in love. He wants to marry her. Investigators tracked down Michael's email to South Africa and told Diane Standish that it's likely she will never, ever get her money back. So what can we learn from all this? Number one, don't assume strangers you meet online are who they say they are. And never send money to anyone you've met before in the hopes that they're going to live up to any promises. And if you have any older folks in your family, warn them about these catfishing scams too. It just seems like lately they're the most vulnerable.
Speaking of crooks, a group in Detroit recently used a remote device to rig a gas pump that let them steal gas. As a matter of fact, it took 90 minutes and they got away with over 600 gallons in broad daylight, all while the attendants scrambled to try to shut the pump down. Ever heard of a shutoff valve? I mean, isn't that at every gas station? Anyway, police told Fox News that the thieves used a device to hack the pump and whatever it was prevented the attendant from turning it off inside the station. Again, there is a thing called an emergency shutoff valve. I'm just saying. Earlier this year, researchers discovered vulnerabilities in an automated system used by gas stations around the world. The flaw allows hackers to shut down fuel pumps, hijack credit card numbers, and even control fuel prices. In this case, investigators have surveillance video and are searching for the suspects. Okay, I'm sure you've worried about what big tech knows about you, how they get all that information. Here's Kim to explain.
In high school, millions of kids are required to read George Orwell's classic novel, 1984. But in China, the nightmare is quickly coming true. The Chinese people are very protective of their public image. Should it become tarnished, they can be humiliated for life. So the government now controls public behavior using 300 million surveillance cams for instant facial recognition powered by artificial intelligence software. Tens of thousands of police rove around in public, equipped with smart glasses, identifying everyone they see. Sidewalks, markets, train stations, nowhere is beyond government facial recognition. You can be arrested for even the slightest infraction of the law. And if so, your face and government ID is broadcast, placed online, and on large public video monitors for everyone to see. Orwell's book has seen a surge in popularity over the last year. Maybe it's time to read it again. And just ahead, a new Google rollout. And Facebook is having a really bad year, and it just got worse. And a car isn't just a car anymore.
On a lighter note, Pay Now lets you pay friends and save concert tickets or boarding passes. The updates to Google Pay rolled out earlier this week, which puts Google in direct competition with Venmo and Apple Pay, although it still has some catching up to do. As of right now, there's only a limited number of places from where you can save tickets. It does include Ticketmaster and Southwest Airlines. If you had been using Google Pay Send, it's not integrated into the new Google Pay app. Here's some more good news. Google Pay is cross-platform, so it is available on iOS apps. Hey, you remember in the 90s, the company Nextel, where it was kind of like you could walkie-talkie to your friend and record a message and send it off and then they would hear it? Well, it may be back. Here's Kim to explain.
Coming this fall, the newest Apple Watch and Watch OS will feature 35-year-old technology, and an entire generation will believe it's something new. Everyone knows that short, quick phone calls are a thing of the past. Today, we text, but texting's big shortfall is its inability to convey the sender's emotion. A quick text can appear rude or impolite. In the early 90s, a cellular company called Nextel produced phones that allowed quick and instant walkie-talkie type messages with other Nextel users. Hearing the sender's tone of voice, you more easily interpret their mood and meaning. But Nextel was absorbed by Sprint, and the feature disappeared. This leads us back to the Apple Watch, due this fall. The new watch will bring back, yes, the 35-year-old walkie-talkie feature, and texting just may go away.
Well, Facebook's bad year is continuing. It has to pony up some money to the UK government for not safeguarding user information and allowing data mining company Cambridge Analytica to harvest personal data of millions of Facebook followers. The fine is £500,000, which equals to $663,000 US. Well, it's kind of chump change for Facebook. CEO Mark Zuckerberg was just named the world's third richest person, and the company's first quarter revenue alone was almost $12 billion. Somebody at the Associated Press figured it all out, and they say Facebook makes the sum of money, that's 663,000 US dollars, in about 7 minutes. So to say it's a slap on the hand is, I guess, an understatement. It's not over yet, though. Facebook is still in a lot of trouble. They're under investigation in Europe, and they're also the subject of several investigations here in the United States with the Federal Trade Commission, the FBI, the Securities Exchange Commission, the Future Farmers of America, the Future Homemakers of America. Oh, maybe not them.
Okay, here's some great news for summer. Downloading your favorites on Netflix just got smarter. You might remember years ago, Netflix said that offline downloads would never ever happen. Okay, then they changed its tune. Now everyone who watches videos on mobile devices downloads them to watch offline. It really works out great, say when you're on a train or an airplane and you don't have any internet connection. But there's just one major problem with all that downloading. Can you guess what it is? Yes, it's storage. Just one high-quality video takes up a ton of space. So now Netflix is easing the burden with something that they're calling smart downloads. The Netflix app will automatically delete downloaded videos right after you watch them. And get this, it will automatically download the next episode too. So let's say you're hooked on Orange is the New Black. I mean, who isn't? New episodes of Orange is the New Black will officially land on Netflix on July 27th. If you've never watched it or you just want to catch up, well, you can now download Season 1, Episodes 1 to 3. And once you watch Episode 1, it will be deleted automatically, and then Episode 4 will be downloaded. Okay, there is one catch. iPhone users, you won't like this. It's only available on Android's app right now, but it's just a matter of time before it does arrive on iOS. Oh, and remember, to use the download, make sure you're not using your data on your cell phone. It's always best to do these major downloads when you're on Wi-Fi.
And finally today, YouTube and YouTube Music just rolled out incognito mode. The feature disables your watch and search history. We told you about it when they started testing it in May, but now it's ready to go. So to enable incognito mode, just sign into YouTube. The sign out button of your account page will now say turn on incognito. The first time you enable it, you'll get a prompt that says you've gone incognito. A few ways you can tell that your search and viewing isn't being tracked. You'll see the Google hat and Shades avatar icon in the top right, and there'll be an incognito bar at the bottom. Just a warning though, your incognito searches may still be visible to your employer, school, or internet provider. Well, we know you've been thinking about cutting the cable if you haven't done so already. Many of you actually have done so already. Have you ever wondered how to get the best bang for your buck as far as streaming devices or streaming services? It's all part of her article in this weekend's USA Today. Here's Kim to explain.
We have so many options for watching shows, the news, and movies. For decades, cable companies ruled the roost, but along came streaming services, and now they're taking over. Over 60% of adults use streaming services to watch TV and movies. But between Netflix, Hulu, Vudu, and Amazon Prime Video, figuring out which one is right for you can be a nightmare. I'm here to help. Let's start with the most popular, Netflix. It's come a long way since the red envelope in the mail. Now, for about $11 a month, you can get a ton of shows and movies. Plus, Netflix is making a big bang with original programming like Stranger Things, the new Lost in Space, and my favorite, The Crown. You can watch on almost any device from smart TVs to tablets. Amazon Prime Video is a perk for Prime members. It has a ton of original programs, movies, and TV shows. But you have to shell out the $119 a year for your Prime membership fee. And not all movies fall under the Prime benefit. Some you still have to rent or buy. Hulu's service is gaining ground thanks to original programming like Stephen King's series, Castle Rock. It's cheaper than Netflix at $8 a month, but that comes with commercials. To go ad-free, you need to pay a little more. Finally, Vudu, that's V-U-D-U. Walmart owns this service, and here you pay for what you watch. Some rentals are less than $1, and Vudu brags that it gets new movies faster than Netflix. So which one is the best? That answer depends on what you want to watch. And who says you have to pick just one?
And just a reminder, if you're not already getting my podcast delivered to you automatically, make sure that you subscribe on Apple iTunes or Google Play. And by the way, this podcast is not The Kim Komando Show. You could learn more about The Kim Komando Show podcast by heading over to getkim.com. That's getkim.com.